Hello everyone, welcome to the pre-game show here on the Game Day YouTube channel. We've got two massive games coming up this weekend and here they are. The title race in the 10th tier is nearing its end, and on Saturday, table toppers Great Yarmouth Town travel to FC Parson Drove. And then on Sunday, we travel to Wembley to see if Posh have got the fire as they take on Wycombe Wanderers in the EFL Trophy Final. Yes, so we start on Saturday. We head to Parson Drove. If you know what FC Parson Drove is, it's near Peterborough, sort of en route there, about 15-20 minutes from Peterborough, as they take on Great Yarmouth Town in the Thurlow Nunn Division 1 North. Now, of course, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you're probably quite familiar with Great Yarmouth Town by now. We will look at them in a second, but first of all, who are Parson Drove? Welcome to FC Parson Drove. The original FC Parson Drove was founded in 1921 by the headmaster of the local school. They played in the Peterborough District League and also started entering the FA Cup. They had some good success, winning Division 1 and the Premier Division many times throughout their history, along with some Cambridge Invitational Cups and Cambridgeshire Challenge Cups as well. However, in 1998, after an application to join the Division 1 of the Eastern Counties was rejected, with their ground in a poor state, the club was disbanded. Arguably, Parson Drove's greatest moments came in the 1979-80 FA Cup. They went on a remarkable run that saw them defeat big clubs like Chelmsford City and Kings Lynn. The 2-0 win over Chelmsford was labelled as Chelmsford's worst ever performance. In March 1992, the club was resurrected and once again re-entered the Peterborough and District League in Division 6. However, after many promotions, they managed to return to the Premier Division in 2004. However, by 2014, the club had folded once again. In 2017, a new Parson Drove club was established when Wisbech St Mary Saints, who had been formed earlier in the summer, moved to Parson Drove. They were in the Peterborough District League Division 2 and that year won the title. They would then go on to win the Division 1 title, earning promotion to the Premier Division. At the end of the 2020-21 season, Parson Drove won the Peterborough District League Premier Division, earning promotion to the Division 1 North of Eastern Counties League for the first time. The reformed club also entered the FA Vase, and as of this season, they still find themselves in the Division 1 North. After some close games of relegation, they find themselves in mid-table this season. The club has moved around a few grounds in its early history, but in 1975 moved on to a new playing field on Main Road, the club's current ground, which has seen some upgrades over the years as the new FC Parson Drove rose through the divisions. In the other meeting with Great Yarmouth this season, Parson Drove were 2-0 up at half-time at the Wellesley, but would go on to lose 3-2. So would this time be different for FC Parson Drove? So yes, that is FC Parson Drove, and as I said in that video there, they did nearly beat Great Yarmouth earlier on in the season. They went 2-0 up at half-time at the Wellesley before a fantastic comeback from the Bloaters gave them a 3-2 victory. We'll move on to Great Yarmouth Town now. You can see their results on the screen now. Of course, last time we did one of these pre-game shows, they were about to play Framlingham. Top of the league clash, they did beat Framlingham to go top of the league. Since that Framlingham game, however, they are unbeaten, but they've just not quite seen the same team. Of course, they then had that Parson Drove game where they were 2-0 down, came back to 3-2. Then they needed a 90th minute penalty against Needham Market to get the win. And then they've since had two consecutive draws to Whittlesea, another team who are in that sort of Fenlands area, and at home to Norwich CBS. One good thing for Great Yarmouth is that Framlingham have played even worse since the game at the Wellesley. They've actually lost a couple of games. They lost to Holland and Leeston's under 23s, I believe. So as it stands, you can see the table on screen now. Yarmouth are top by a point and have got game in hand. They've got 4 left. Framlingham have 3. And every game is massive now. This game at Parson Drove, for me, might be the biggest one of them all because, you look at the Stanway game, they're third, and you can see the fixtures on screen now actually for Great Yarmouth. They've got Parson Drove, Stanway, Wivenhoe, and then Whitton. So 2 at home, 2 away. I think this Parson Drove game is huge because if they don't get a positive result here, the squad morale's got to be a bit low, because if they don't win against Parson Drove, that's then 3 games without a win. I'm not saying that the squad has bad morale, but I think we always just need that morale boosting win. I mean, I put in the predictions on the non-league social, a 3-0 Great Yarmouth win. Was that my prediction, or was that what I was hoping for? I do think Yarmouth will win, and I more hope it'll be 3-0, because a big win like that would be such a morale boost for the bloaters, for the team, for the fans, heading into their final 3 games of the season, 2 at home, 1 away. You know, that could get us over the line, whereas I feel like if we're going into Stanway at home, a tricky game, off the back of 3 games without a win, even if we draw 3 draws in a row, you know, the confidence is a bit lower. So I'm hoping for a big win. Framlingham have only got 3 games left, so I mean, it is out of their hands. I mean, Yarmouth can lose a game and win the other 3. Promotion's likely to be sealed against Wivenhoe on the Wednesday night, maybe against Stanway, maybe against Whitton. Can't be confirmed this weekend, no, so we know that for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a massive game for the bloaters. I'm not sure how many the Amber Wave are going. I think that DJ from Non-League Wonders is going, so we'll see him there. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. Final up Parson Drove. They won't make it easy for Great Yarmouth. They didn't at the Wellesley, they won't today. They've got nothing to play for. They're mid-table, but sometimes a mid-table team when they've got nothing to play for play better because they've got less pressure on them. The pressure is on Yarmouth in terms of, not in terms from the fans, not the expectations not on them, because Yarmouth fans weren't expecting a title charge at the start of the season. They'd have been happy to just get into the playoffs, really. But the pressure's on them now because they're in this position, a bit like Arsenal last year in the Premier League. No one expected them to be there, but then because they got there, they were expected to get over the line. And we're expecting Great Yarmouth to get over the line. I hope they will. I think they will. But yeah, this Parson Drove game is massive. They've got to get back to winning ways. So moving on then to the second game of what will be the biggest weekend I've ever had here on game day in terms of the magnitude of the games. Sunday we head to Wembley Stadium for the EFL Trophy Final. Peterborough United, of course, my team Peterborough United, take on Wycombe Wanderers to lift the EFL Trophy. If you want to know the routes to the final, there are separate videos for that. One for Peterborough, one for Wycombe, but we will go through each team's route to the journey in a second. Yes, on screen now you can see Peterborough United's road to the final for the 2024 EFL Trophy Final. Starting off on the group stage, beat Cambridge and Tottenham's under-21s to top the group. Did lose to Colchester, but you can't really look at that too seriously. They fielded a very rotated side. It was, we've already won the group. We're just going to field some fringe players and some academy players, see how they do. They lost 1-0, put in a decent performance, doesn't really matter. Round 32, beat Arsenal's under-21s, very convincing performance there. They then, quarter-final, slightly less convincing, but did beat Crawley Town. So it was round of 16 versus Crawley Town, 2-1. The quarter-final was then against AFC Wimbledon, 3-1 at home. In terms of convincing, well, they got a couple early goals, then didn't really do anything for the rest of the game because they didn't need to. They were 2-0 up, just cruising, and when Wycombe pulled a goal back, they realised, right, we probably should get a third, and they did get a third, 1-3-1, and then their best performance from the EFL Trophy so far, going to Bloomfield Road, going to Blackpool, tricky place to go. Yes, it wasn't full, but it was still like £6,000 there, so it's a tricky place to go still, and 3-0 victory, very comfortable indeed. And something you'll see from the Peterborough United results compared to the Wycombe results is they score a lot of goals. So there's a lot of goals in the games in general. Posh got 3 players on 3 goals, Mason Clark, Burrows and Mothersill. Ricky J. Jones has got a couple, and you've got likes of Clark Harris, Katongo, Poku, Fernandez, De Havilland all on one. So loads of goals scored there compared to Wycombe. They're top scorers in League One. They're probably the top scorers in the EFL Trophy. I'll be surprised if there's anyone with higher than them. So expect goals from the Posh at both ends. In terms of how they've done previously in the EFL Trophy, of course they have won it once before, 2014, 10 years ago. 3-1 win over Chesterfield in the final. So hopefully we can see repeat scenes of that when they take on Wycombe Wanderers. Just Wycombe Wanderers are the opposition. You can see their routes to the final on screen now. You can see in the group stage where they played Wimbledon, who actually went on to play Posh, of course, Crystal Palace under 21s and Stevenage. 3-1-0 wins there. Round of 32, they then took on Fulham, which was a 3-2 victory for Wycombe. Then they played West Ham's under 21, so a lot of under 21s teams they played took on West Ham, 2-1 victory there. Then they played their best performance of the season in the quarter-finals, in my opinion. Took on Brighton's under-21s. They were the last remaining academy sides. They obviously had something about them and demolished them 4-1. They were fantastic. I actually did watch that game on the iFollow. They were fantastic. And then they took on Bradford in the semi-finals. Weren't at their best, but fantastic defensive performance from them. Max Striek was brilliant in goal. Which for me is that sort of player to look out for. Max Striek, he's been fantastic, certainly in that semi-final which I watched. And yeah, Matt Butcher's late winner sent Wycombe to Wembley. That was their 4th 1-0. Yeah, they had a few games where they scored more goals. Scored 4 against Brighton, 3 against Fulham. 4 1-0s in there, so they're certainly more of a defensive team rather than goal scoring. So you've almost got attack in Peterborough versus defence in Wycombe. Wycombe also got the advantage in the fact that in the meetings this season it was a 2-2 at London Road, and of course here on game day there's another EFL Classics about this one as well. 5-2 win for Wycombe. So that was the last meeting between the two teams. So Wycombe have got that slight edge. In terms of their previous EFL Trophy performances, this is the best they've ever done. They've never reached the final before. They have played at Wembley before. Unlike Peterborough, have lost at Wembley. They've played there in playoff games. They've won the FA Trophy a couple of times, which I assume the final was at Wembley back when they were a non-league side. So they have played at Wembley before. They have won and lost at Wembley, but never in the EFL Trophy final. If they win this, it's probably the biggest trophy they've ever won. As I say, they've won the FA Trophy before, which is probably the biggest cup, let's say, that there was one previously. But if they can win the EFL Trophy, it'd be fantastic for the club, as it will be for Peterborough as well. That'd be fantastic for either club if they can win it. So yeah, excited to see what happens. Can Wycombe win the EFL Trophy for the first time, or will Posh have the fire 10 years after they last won it? Obviously, as a Peterborough United fan, I'm going to go into Peterborough a little bit more than I am Wycombe, because I'm a bit more aware of what's going on at Peterborough than I am with the Wanderers. On screen now is my lineup, because I feel like this could be quite controversial point in the game, or quite controversial point before the game, or at the point when the lineup is released. A few players in there who should be in there, should not be in there. So I'm going to put my opinion out there now and why. Most players do pick themselves to be fair. Jed Steer in goal. You know, he's Posh's best goalkeeper at the minute. I would have Billa Kapic or Fintally, either of them on the bench, because both of them are very good at saving penalties. Fintally saved a penalty at Derby and in the EFL Trophy. Billa Kapic saved a couple of penalties in an EFL Cup shootout win against Swindon. So they're both good at penalties, so maybe bring them on. But I don't think Jed Steer is bad either at penalties, so I don't know if they've been practicing for him. Myself personally, if I was going into a game where there could be a penalty shootout, I would do a little bit of practice, just so that I know what I'm going to do before then. And particularly a goalkeeper, do your research on the opposition players before the penalty shootout. Yeah, so Jed Steer in goal. The back four picks itself, that's very simple. Burrows, the captain, who we'll come on to in a second. Josh Knight, Ronnie Edwards, and Jedel Katongo. The midfield two also picks itself. Archie Collins, Hector Cipriano. I believe Cipriano is back. Actually, he was back. He was back at Leyton Orient when he scored, actually, so he is definitely back. So Collins, Cipriano, them two midfields. Best midfield partnership in the league. Now we start to get a bit controversial. Not with the wingers, Poku and Mason Clark, again, two fantastic players in League One this season. But the two spots really up for debate. Cam, striker. Striker, I'm going to go Ricky J. Jones, as you can see on screen. Why Ricky and not Malik Mothersill? I mean, I'm going off what I last saw from Malik Mothersill, and he didn't do that much running about. That was against Carlisle. I felt that Ricky J. Jones, he does get about more. Yes, his finishing's not up to scratch, but also going back to the previous Wycombe game, admittedly Mothersill didn't play in that, and I am leaving Clark Harris out of the equation here. Mothersill didn't play in that, but Ricky J. Jones, when he was up top, did get a goal, played really well. I definitely have Mothersill on the bench, and I'm definitely bringing Mothersill on, because unless Ricky J. Jones goes off and scores a hat-trick, I think he could get a goal, don't get me wrong, but I think Mothersill's a fantastic player to have on the bench for the last half an hour. to run about against tired defenders, which you could say about Ricky as well, but I'll lean towards Ricky J. Jones. Then in the cam spot, I am going to go for Joel Randall. I'm always very passionate in my defence against Joel Randall. He's very overhated. He's always the scapegoat, but I'm not going to go into that. The only other options really you could go for is either saying, well, Clark Harris or Motherwell playing a 2 up top. That doesn't work for Posh. We're not doing that. Or you go Ryan de Havilland. Ryan de Havilland's decent. He's a good midfielder. But I would personally start Joel Randall. I'd have de Havilland on the bench. He probably comes on, but I feel like Joel Randall, the amount of stick he's had this season, it just feels like in a cup final he might have a statement to make, and you never know. Any of them 11 players out on the pitch could be the hero of the Posh. You just never know in a cup final. And yes, on the day of the cup final, Peterborough United will be led out by their left back, young Harrison Burrows, who's just been nominated for Player of the Season in Sky Bet League 1. But who is Harrison Burrows, this young Peterborough captain? Welcome to the village of Murrow. And so this is where life began for Harrison Burrows 22 years ago in this small village in the middle of the Fens. Little did we know, 22 years later, little did we know when he joined the Peterborough United Academy at the age of 6, he would be leading his boyhood team out at Wembley. It has been some journey for Harrison Burrows. After joining the Peterborough United Academy at the age of 6, Harrison Burrows made his debut in a pre-season friendly at the youthful age of just 15 versus Ipswich Town. He would sign a professional deal in 2019 and at the age of just 17 would make his debut in first the EFL Trophy before making his league debut away at MK Dons, and since then the rise has been meteoric. In the 2020-21 season, Harrison played 21 games for Posh as they won promotion to the Championship, but it would be that Championship season where Burrows truly broke through. He would make 37 appearances in the league that year and burst onto the scene with a late goal against Derby in front of the Sky Sports cameras. After that breakout season in the Championship, it was probably expected that Harrison would move on to a bigger club in a higher up league, but after relegation he stayed with the Posh, looking to bring them back to the Championship. Whether it be as a midfielder or a fullback, he continues to shine, and even when Posh missed out on the playoffs, he still remains at the club, where he seems to have settled at left back. He's got a plethora of goals and assists this year, and he looks like he could be leading the Posh to promotion. Harrison Burrows has had his best season this season, loads of goals and assists, and has really settled in at that left back spot. He was given vice captaincy at the beginning of the season, but after Peter Kioso went back to Rotherham, he was given the captain's armband for the rest of the season. His leadership skills have been clear to see, and he's been a very key player, one of the key men in Posh's road, not to just the EFL Trophy Final, but to possible automatic promotion. His future remains uncertain, contract that has not yet been offered to him. Would he stay? I don't know. But it doesn't matter what he does for the rest of his career, Harrison Burrows is a Peterborough legend. At just 22 years old, the boy from Murrow will lead his team out at Wembley Stadium, possibly even lifting a trophy. Yes, so there you go, Harrison Burrows, the boy from Murrow, the rise through the academy to captain his team at Peterborough United, of course, in the crowd when Peterborough won it 10 years ago, and now he'll lead his team out. Will he be lifting the trophy for the Super Posh? I don't know. No one knows. All we can do is go to Wembley with 40,000 other people and find out. And with that, we have reached the end of another episode of the pre-game show here on the Game Day YouTube channel. On Saturday, Parson Drove versus Great Yarmouth Town, and then Sunday, Peterborough United versus Wycombe Wanderers in the EFL Trophy Final. I'll get them 2 Game Day vlogs up as soon as I can after the games, of course, and they'll also be on Monday. Beyond the Arch, a bit of a behind the scenes of my day going to London, so something a little bit different on the Game Day YouTube channel. Again, that'll be up Monday evening. But yes, we've come to the end of another video here on the channel. If you have enjoyed this one, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below to let me know how your team is getting on. But once again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.